Good afternoon and welcome to the Shea for the final home game of the season against Whitehaven, Halifax. Neither safe on the field nor off it, going through financial turmoil yet again as the days tick down to potential liquidation, and the challenge being on to find £90,000 by the 11th of September. Whitehaven sitting pretty in the top three of the National League One, with a vociferous support following. It's 2 coach loads, some bizarrely dressed sights in the South Stand Lounge before this match. It's like a mini Wembley with that many people in fancy dress, and the sun finally shines on the Shea, but I suggest it's not for long after a lot of rain this morning. The Whitehaven team this afternoon: Gary Broadbent, John LeBon, Rob Jackson, Derry Elbeck and Steve Maiden. 3/4, Leroy Joe and John Duffy. Steve Trindle, Aaron Smith and David Fatty-Alofa in the front row. For Whitehaven, Spencer Miller, Mark Leaffer and Carl Rudd at the back three. Graham Mattison, Ricky Wright, Howard Hill and Scott Tier on the bench. Halifax lining up with Damien Gibson at fullback, Andy Kirk says on the wing with Jim Sealey inside at centre, Anthony Blackwood and Marcus George on the other flank, Joel Penny, the former Whitehaven man, at standoff. Dominic Brambani is preferred for his troubles. Well, the fullback was screaming at Steve Maiden. Because George was coming up at a fair lick there, and in panic Maiden gave the ball to Gary Broadbent for what you could possibly call a hospital pass, and Broadbent did well to bring the ball back into the field of play, but not without some aggressive attention from the Halifax defence. Well, Whitehaven will begin from a metre away from the line. Broadbent seems to be okay after attention, but there's a mistake from Leroy Joe, but Halifax will be penalised by Ian Smith for the offside, so a let off for Whitehaven. And Duffy makes around 12 metres with a kick, makes it over the 40, and Mark Leaffer and disentangled himself from the 4 men that made the tackle, as Derry Elbeck is given the ball, takes it back inside up to the 40, tackled by David Wrench. Duffy to Steve Trindle. Good defence from Halifax, forcing Whitehaven across the field. Now Fatty-Alofa pumping the legs. Both teams putting plenty of numbers in defence. They need to get out quickly as the kick's put through, but skids across a slippery surface and out. Touch in goal. It'll come back for the tap on the 20. Marcus George comes in to help out the forwards, but Whitehaven doing the same again, putting lots of numbers in defence. Trindle tackle this time on Damien Ball. Byron Smith, not the best of passes, sort of slipping out of the hands of Simeon Hoyle. Kept it low to the ground. Smith did well to keep hold of it. Whittaker makes yards on the far side and attracts 3 defenders to him. Brambani to and Duffy. Well, the ball's travelled perhaps further than it should have done, because it wasn't the best of kicks. David Wrench picks it up and charges back. Trindle the first man to him, Mark Leaffer the second. Byron Smith charging forward. Both defences standing firm at the moment. Brambani puts the inside ball up. Whitehaven defence watching it all the way. Gibson, I think, looking for a penalty there. Penny gets it to Larder, and Duffy immediately into Dave Larder. Penny coming down the short side, looked for somebody to pass, but Blackwood was in an offside position. He gets it away to Brambani, who'll slide the kick across the field, and there could be problems, but there's a mistake. It's a double knock on. James Haley would have had a 4-pointer then had he kept hold of the ball, but the conditions getting the better of both sides at the moment. Slippery ball. And there are lots of handling errors, but the first mistake coming from Whitehaven. Halifax will get the opportunity of 6 more tackles towards that Whitehaven line, assuming of course that they can keep hold of the ball for 6 tackles. Brambani feeds Penny. Penny looking for options, going across the defence, brings Marcus George on the inside, not the best of passers, but he's managed to keep hold of it. Penny went down very heavily, but has recovered enough to take up the acting half position after Blackwood's run from the dummy half. Larder given a little room to work in by the Whitehaven defence. Halifax still 5 metres away. Brambani will step inside. It's Broadbent to beat again. I think Leaffa was round the legs, but Broadbent clattering Brambani as Simeon Hoyle tries to fool the Whitehaven defence. A pinch one from a dummy half, but they're not falling for that one so easy. Penny will slide the ball through again, and the reaction from Joel Penny says it all there. Knew he'd put too much meat on the ball, but what have Whitehaven got left in attack after defending for 2 or 3 sets of 6 on their own line? Not much from Derry Elbeck, who's dragged back over the 20, and Hoyle and Smith trying to do the same again, but John LeBon falling to the ground as Aaron Smith makes ground up towards the 40. Halifax still making every effort while they can to force the man back towards his own line. 3-man tackle. Whitehaven just over the 40-metre line. Rudd gets the ball out wide to Duffy. Duffy splits the Halifax defence, and Marcus George comes in to cut down the scrum half on the last tackle. Halifax still retreating. Rudd gets the ball out wide. It looked like maybe a forward pass in there, but Gibson watches the ball travel out of play, and Halifax will get the tap on the 20. Damien Ball into John Duffy, who showed a clean pair of heels to the Halifax defence there. They've stuck to the task admirably so far, but they can't take their eye off the ball. They've done well in the tackle count to limit Whitehaven's progress. And a penalty from Ian Smith. The hand in underneath. Second penalty for Halifax as grey clouds gather above the shade. Penny puts the ball into touch on the Whitehaven 40-metre line. Wrench is the first runner and almost slips the defence. It was only the second effort of Mark Leaffa that brought down the prop forward. Byron Smith charging into defence on the 20, but a second attempt there from Spencer Miller wins Halifax a third penalty, and a shot at goal signalled from the dugout. Well, James Haley will take the opportunity of first points. Well, 38 goals for the season. This to put Halifax in the lead for the first time. Well, nothing to choose at the moment between these two sides. James Haley has pushed it to the right hand side of the upright. Halifax will get the ball back from the dropout on the 20 metre line, but a golden opportunity there for the normally reliable Haley. And it will be Duffy who pumps the ball downfield into the arms of Brambani, and Byron Smith is immediately on hand to take the kick return back almost up to halfway. Whittaker against Whitehaven defence that came out of the blocks very quickly then, and might have even given Matthew Whittaker a bit of an advantage as he took the ball up to the 40. David Wrench slips round Leroy Joe. Duffy and Miller there to make the tackle. Penny bringing Larder on the inside. Larder looked to squeeze the pass away to Blackwood. Halifax back within sight of that Whitehaven try lane as Penny feeds Brambani. Short ball to his captain Damien Ball as Gibson continues the movement. Whittaker gets it back inside to Brambani, and once again Brambani clattered by Broadbent. Damien Ball will not get the opportunity to get it away on the last tackle. That's good tackling, good defensive work from Leroy Joe and Spencer Miller. As Broadbent goes for the quick play of the ball, Ian Smith not happy with the way that ball came out quickly. Whitehaven, as the ball comes loose again, Carl Rudd makes the mistake, but it says play on as Whittaker comes away. It's two men to beat, gets it to Marcus George, and the ball goes to ground. Halifax were alert there as Maiden picks the ball up, but Ian Smith, well, he gave Halifax as much advantage as they needed, and there was a try on there. Perhaps not known for his long passes, Matthew Whittaker. It was down at the bootlaces of Marcus George. Marcus George unable to get down low enough, and a definite clear-cut chance gone begging there for Halifax. And Whitehaven will bring it away again with Gary Broadbent put down 12 metres out in front of the post. Aaron Smith away to Miller. He makes it up to the 20. Leroy Howard Hill, who's just come on as a replacement for Whitehaven. And Aaron Smith from acting half getting over the 40 metre line. Back to Duffy, going for the early kick. Back goes Marcus George, but not back far enough, but I think Duffy was just outside of the 40 for that kick, and he was. Ian Smith signals a Halifax ball as Jason Bolts replaces Byron Smith. Howard Hill has replaced David Fatialofa. Midway through the first half, still no score. James Haley missed a penalty virtually in front of the post. Marcus George put down a pass that would have resulted in a 4-pointer after Whitehaven had made the mistake. We've spent quite a lot of time down at the Whitehaven end of the field, but nothing to show for it yet as Whittaker drops out to stand off from the back of the scrum, and Damien Ball takes it over the 20 into Trindle and Hill. Gibson from acting half sneaking another 10 metres. Jason Bolt's first touch stops after 5 metres. John Clough ready to come on as Penny gets the kick away, but it might just travel over the dead ball line, and it does. It'll come back for the tap on the 20. And both sides relying heavily on the backs from the 20 metre tap. One or two of the Whitehaven forwards have got through an awful lot of tackling. Steve Maiden trying to find a gap through the middle of the Halifax defence as Liaffa receives attention from Jason Bolts, which is too high. On Whitehaven's second penalty. Duffy to Howard Hill. Howard Hill inside the Halifax 40s. Duffy gives it to Trindle. Great tackle from Haley right around the legs of the big prop forward. Miller off the inside ball. Whitehaven back in the 20. And there's been a knock on given by Ian Smith. I'm not sure just how much James Haley had an influence on that. It's only a little one. Halifax looking to make a change, but now the scrum's forming. Simeon Hoyle will have to go back and rejoin the scrum. And this time it's Larder who's dropped to the standoff position. And Broadbent moves straight into him. Now John Clough will replace Simeon Hoyle as Gibson once again tries to take the ball away from the Halifax danger area for his forwards. Andy Kirk makes another 7 or 8 metres, looked to be on his way there, just couldn't escape the clutches. Jason Bolts is tackled almost as soon as he received the ball then, and Penny gets it away to Blackwood. Blackwood steps inside too. A little bit of a gap opened up and Blackwood has managed to get it away to David Wrench on the last tackle. Whitehaven still retreating. Penny attacks the left hand side, puts the ball off the outside of the boot, but it's too far forward for Marcus George. And the scrum will form with a Whitehaven feed, but it's back down in the Whitehaven quarter of the field. Duffy feeds the scrum, and once again Whitehaven have brought the backs in to run the ball out. Derry Elbeck put down by 3, and Whitehaven have seen an option on that far side. There's shouts of a forward pass as John LeBon races away down that far side, but he's brought down on the 40s, caught by James Haley. Halifax still retreating, but Whitehaven forwards slow up to support play. And that's why Spencer went on his own, but Smith steps out of Haley's tackle. And Whitehaven are back threatening 10 metres away from the Halifax line with Leroy Joe. Long ball out to Rudd. Rudd turns it back to Leaffer. Leaffer gets it away to Leroy Joe and gets it away despite the attentions of Kirk, and Miller's put down a metre away. Even he's managed to get the ball away. The ball over the line, but held up, said Ian Smith. Desperate defence from Halifax. Whitehaven insistent on pushing the pass. And the last tackle will start on the 10 metre line. Dangerous moments for Halifax there, but they somehow managed to contain that Whitehaven assault as Duffy kicks the ball forward, and Marcus George will let it travel dead. It's only just gone. Jackson and Elbeck and Maiden rather chasing the ball down. Well, there may have been a hint of an offside there, but referee lets play continue as Jason Bolts takes it up Clough to Larder. Larder makes it to the 40. Wrench back on the inside. Leaffer making sure the pass didn't go away. Ricky Wright is on for Whitehaven. He's replaced Steve Trindle, last tackle. And Brambane will look for space at the back, forcing Broadbent across. Broadbent behind his own line, but the chase going up as one means it'll be allowed to bring the ball back into play. Tackled by opposite number Damien Gibson. And there was a bit of a shove there as Gibson appealed for the penalty, and Smith waved it away. And he's given the penalty the other way this time, a hand in again. levelling up the penalty count, and Duffy quick to dispatch the ball over the touchline on the far side. Half an hour gone, still no points at the Shea. Halifax looking for survival on and off the field. Liaffa taking the flat pass, put down on halfway. Duffy will give the inside ball to Leroy Joe, and Joe makes it to the 30 before being stopped by Larder and Blackwood. Duffy puts the kick in, but Maiden and George on the chase, and neither will get the ball before it goes dead, so it'll be another tap on the 20. Marcus George in a very shallow position. Adam Hayes on for David Wrench as Jason Bolts is hammered backwards. A dangerous pass, and the ball has gone away, and the referee has called knock on, but who is it against? Well, he's given Halifax possession. It's a little bit of a let off, is that, after Jason Bolts in a panic tried to get rid of the ball. And the first touch from Graham Mattison, another one of the Whitehaven replacements, went forward. Adam Hayes first touch, and run is ended just outside the 20. Whittaker driving it forward. Clough again. Halifax go to that right hand side with Damien Ball trying to spin out of the tackles. Spencer Miller slow to get up after the tackle was made. Brambani to Jason Bolts. Bolts stopped by Ricky Wright. John Clough pushes away from Leroy Joe, gets the ball away to Adam Hayes. Damien Ball in support, but that's where the movement stops as the tackle's made. The last one of this set of 6. It'll go back to Brambani, who thought about the kick and then threw it away in desperation. Not what Halifax wanted. The kick the better option. Brambani went for thought he'd seen the gap, quickly closed up, threw the pass away in desperation, and has given Whitehaven easy meters when they should have been defending a kick perhaps under their own posts. And they're already back over the 40 and almost up to halfway with Broadbent the fullback. Liaffa trying to break the defence. Good tackle from Hayes round the legs. Duffy taking 12-15 metres there, pushing Halifax back, but it's the last tackle. Kick off the outside of the boot, and Penny from here gives it to Marcus George, and George not able to shake off Maidens and Elbeck. Blackwood to the 20. Well, the game turning round now as it's Halifax that are struggling to get out of their own quarter of the field. Clough has 2 goals, successfully putting Mattinson away. Mattinson gets there at the 3rd attempt with assistance from Howard Hill. Brambani will go for the 40-20, and Brambani will get the 40-20. Well, that makes up a little bit for the mess up when he tried to run through. This is perhaps the position Halifax should have been in, pressuring the kick. Brambani took the wrong option then, but he's taking the right option this time. Put Halifax in a superb position with a tremendous 40-20. Something Halifax don't seem to use much, but Brambani seems to be able to pull them out with ease when he gets the opportunity. Gibson down on one knee, pressure from Elbeck. Penny looking for the quick play of the ball. Broadbent standing off because he knew he was in an offside position. And Whittaker brought down 15 metres away. Whitehaven slow to get up at the play of the ball. Brambani brings Adam Hayes on the inside, but Hayes is clattered as he looks for an option of the pass, and he does eventually get it away. It's gone to ground. Penny will try and take advantage as he tries to get between 2. And there's all sorts of messing about at the play of the ball. There's a Whitehaven man down injured trying to tackle Penny. Damien Ball has opened up the Whitehaven defence. finally the pressure has told. All started with a kick from the 40-20. Penny made a charging run. Adam Hayes was all wrapped up and had 3 men round him and managed to get the ball away. Joe Penny's run has left a Whitehaven man on the ground, but Damien Ball, nobody laid a hand on him. He couldn't believe it as he went through. Whitehaven defence lead-footed. Halifax captain Damien Ball puts the first points on the board. Halifax 4, Whitehaven 0. And James Haley this time converts the try from in front of the post. And at last the deadlock is broken. Second hour, just over half an hour. It's Halifax 6, Whitehaven 0. Damien Ball being replaced after a superb try. Byron Smith back on for Halifax. John Duffy waits for the cone. Byron Smith has been replaced. Steve Trindle has gone back on for Whitehaven. I'm not sure who it is that's being helped from the field, but that is a result of Penny's storming run towards the line, willing to take on the defence. And Halifax running out of the 20. It's Carl Rudd that's been replaced as Whittaker shrugs off defenders. Whittaker looking at the pass, and it's come off the foot of a Halifax man, so it might have been play on. But a tremendous bait from Matthew Whittaker, once again shrugging off defenders, opening up the Whitehaven defence, but the pass once again not going to the intended recipient. And there may have been an opportunity there because Halifax had 3 men on this side of the field. Broadbent links up to the standoff position and takes the ball up to the 40. Graham Mattinson feeding to the ball to the strong running Howard Hill, and Halifax looking a bit precarious in defence. Mattinson feeds Leaffer. Leaffer back to Trindle. Trindle back to Mattinson. Mattinson stepping to defence, and it's not going to take Whitehaven long to reply. Leroy Joe forces his way over. Mattinson involved twice in the move. And Halifax, the lead held for only a couple of minutes, and it all came about from the mistake when the ball went to ground and into touch after a barnstorming run from Whittaker. Whitehaven taking full advantage. Halifax had been pushed back by the runs from Hill and Trindle. Trindle managing to unload the ball. Whitehaven keeping it alive. Mattinson involved twice, and Mark Leaffer also with a strong run towards the Halifax line. And the Halifax cheers quickly silenced by this Whitehaven side. It's Halifax 6 and Whitehaven 4. So Duffy kicking into the face of the wind, I think, but making light work of it as he puts the ball over and levels the scores.
A successful conversion there by number 7, John Duffy.
So the tries like buses, you wait ages and on come, and then there's two in a couple of minutes. Scores a level again. Martin Hall will be disappointed because Whitehaven haven't really had many opportunities, but they got up ahead of steam there with Leaffer and Hill attacking the line, causing problems, along with Mattison, as Marcus George keeps the ball in play, and Anthony Blackwood almost forcing out Steve Maiden. Broadbent in the thick of the action again. Seems to have been about for years now, Gary Broadbent. Ricky Wright into 3. Eventually put down. Ian Smith screaming at Halifax to get back the 10 metres. And Whitehaven gifted a penalty. Well, it shouted at him, at the referee. And with time almost up in the first half, Whitehaven looking for the opportunity to go in front before the half-time hooter. Ricky Wright with the first drive towards the Halifax line, brought down 12 metres away now. Trindle doing the same and taking Whitehaven to within 3 metres. And Whitehaven stacking players on that left-hand side. Leroy Joe will have dummy runners. Gary Broadbent wriggling and trying to find a way through, brought down a metre away by Adam Hayes. Leroy Joe. Well, Whitehaven trying to get men across to this side as Duffy tries to find a way through on his own, and he's put down 8 metres away. Mattinson out to Leroy Joe with a little chip over the top. Howard Hill will be the first man to it. Nobody reacted for Halifax, and they're undone by the simplest of kicks from Leroy Joe. And Howard Hill adds a second try in 2 minutes for Whitehaven to put them into the lead for the first time. But how disappointed will Martin Hall be that his team seem to have taken their eye off the ball so close to half time. So John Duffy with another conversion, this one a little bit easier than the last one, and he didn't have any problem with the last one. This to double Whitehaven's lead, and the sucker punch right before half time. But Duffy fails with this one, so the gap stays at 4. Halifax 6, Whitehaven 10. And disappointing after the first 35 minutes effort from Halifax. But they have had a couple of opportunities on the back of breaks from Matthew Whittaker, but the ball went to ground. So back to the drawing board as Haley. There's plenty of spin on the ball. Broadbent's dispensed with a headgear, gets it back inside to Leroy Joe, but he's tackled on the 20. Whitehaven quickly trying to assemble their attacking line as Trindle gets it away. And I'm not sure Spencer Miller was expecting that pass from Trindle. Well, they kept the ball alive that led to the first try did Trindle. That'll be a penalty to Halifax. Accidental offside, nevertheless it was offside, so of Halifax time in the seconds that remain on the clock in this first half to hit back. They've taken the opportunity to go for the 2. Well, Halifax perhaps realising that the time left on the clock would not be enough for the 6 tackles. So James Haley with his most difficult attempt of the afternoon. And again, it's been pulled to the right hand side. That will possibly be the last action, and is the last action of the first half. That remains scoreless for 35 minutes, and then Halifax opened up the scoring with a tremendous try from Captain Damien Ball as he rounded the Whitehaven defence, and they just stood and watched him, made the kick easy for James Haley, made it 6-0. It would have been 8 had James Haley not missed a simple kick in front of the post earlier, but then Halifax took the foot off the gas. Whitehaven took full advantage with tries from Leroy Joe, and then Howard Hill following up the kick from Leroy Joe. Just the one conversion from Duffy at half time at the Shea. Halifax 6, Whitehaven 10.